that you could vote for me or other Democrats down ballot, but then select Donald Trump at the top of the ballot? What are the things that you find that we share in common? I bring this up, Tiff and Angela, because while this is completely non scientific, and by the way, the graphic that we are showing, for those of you who are watching and for those of you listening, I'll just describe it. MSNBC, Michelle Norris, a new contributor there, sort of abbreviated some of the statements that people were posting back to her Instagram around what do Democrats that you voted for, like me and Trump, have in common that will cause you to split the ballot. Some of the responses were, it's real simple. Trump and you care about the working class. Someone else said, but wanted to change, so I went with Trump and blue for the rest of the ballot to put some brakes on him. Voted Trump, but
Hit the like button, man. 250 likes, 10 contributors. Now I dropped the link, man. We got Pamela Henderson on the board, man. Salute to Pamela Henderson.
But I, like you and Bernie, I don't trust either party establishment politicians. And it said also, I feel like Trump and you are both real. And I think, all of it strikes us all differently, the way in which Trump shows up. Great alarm. Some people may not remember what his first term was like, the million people who died in the wake of his mishandling of COVID, his erraticism, his assault on protesters and turning the military on them so that he can hold the Bible upside down. Maybe some people just didn't dive in because they got a check that had his name on it, even though it came from the U.S. government.
They still trying to float that theory that we voted for Trump because of a stimulus check in 2020. These some hard-headed people, man. Democrats hard-headed, man.
Made available to them by the Democrats in control of the Congress. Whatever it is that allows you to mist over the overwhelming, sort of disqualifiers for the office of the presidency, people were able to mist over it and find their own reasons for why they could stick with him. And I know we'll get into all of that, but I would just say to the viewer, the listener who posed the question, I think this is going to be a much more complicated answer, and we won't be able to answer it today and maybe in the next few weeks or in the few coming years. But I don't think we're going to be able to resolve this thing simply on the question of race and gender alone. And if we want to understand it better, we're going to have to be willing to dig in, ask some tough questions, find ourselves in some uncomfortable places.
But you still going to end up calling people racist and sexist. You're going to do all that digging and you going to come up with, well, you know what? Upon further review, y'all still racist and sexist.
And I don't mean for the unreachable folks. I'm talking about for the people who are similar to us, grew up similar to us, have the likeness in so many ways, but somehow reasoned themselves into a different choice this time. I'm curious at this stage, still a little bit angry, but my advice would be feel what you need to feel. And I can't even imagine for Black women who poured out so much of themselves, just how badly this cut.
How come no one ever asked how Indian women feel? Shouldn't Indian women be more upset than Black women? I mean, she came out of an Indian womb. And matter of fact, if there's any Indian women out there, man, when I drop the link, man, I want you to come up, man. Because I'm going to be the first one to ask how do Indian women feel, man. We're going to be the first ones to find out how the Indian community feels about Kamala, man. Not becoming the first Indian American president, man. They keep asking Black women. Black women, you didn't make her, man. You did. They act like she came out of a Black woman's womb. Why they keep doing that? Like she popped out of a Black woman's womb. She popped out of an Indian woman's womb. Salute to Nick Tal, man. Nick Tal says, yo, I told you that fake rude boy last night was a fed. I wonder why they flagged that stream from last night. Oh, the wall, the wall going up. Yeah, man, don't worry. I got that stream on Rumble, so I'm a. Last night's stream was lit once we got started, so I'm gonna take that stream from Rumble, edit it, and upload it on YouTube again. So don't worry, man. I got it on Rumble. Everybody hit the like button. 250 likes, 10 contributors, and I'll drop the link. 250 likes, 10 contributors, and I'll drop the link. Support the channel via PayPal, Cash App, or the Super Chat.
But I just want you to know that it cuts pretty badly for a lot of men, myself included as well.
Andrew, I don't know if I agree with your point about going beyond race and gender, but we'll get into that later. Because Andrew, I feel like you and I talked the most probably since election.
You know, I told you, man, they don't want to look past race and gender. The only reason people voted for Trump is because they're racist and sexist.
And the grief is so heavy. How's your heart? But what are your thoughts also?
So a few things. One is I was hoping that we could kind of succinctly go through like the stages of grief, because they have been so extreme. And I think that there are so many people at home, including just based on that question, who can relate to that. But I have vacillated. I haven't like had a clean cut to each stage. I've gone from deep sadness and depression, like Andrew mentioned. I was waking up in the middle of the night going, fuck, like, is this real? Like thinking it was like a Groundhog's Day moment. I thought this was going to play out differently because Joy and Brittany and I prayed the day before the election this time, instead of me calling Joy the day after the election, like what happened. And I still ended up having to make the call.
You prayed for abortion and child gender mutilation? That's what you prayed for?
Like what happened. And then I went through denial, which was like, okay, clearly this thing was stolen. Who did he steal votes from? Last time he was looking for votes, so clearly he must have found the votes. Elon could get on people's phones and text them about cotton they need to be picking. Surely he could figure out a way to be negotiating with these various precinct officials in states to figure this out. And then I talked to campaign staff who shall remain nameless. And the rage that I feel for these staffers and the things that they've been through, the ways in which they were gaslit, the ways in which, Andrew, we saw this play out in your election, I'm angry now. And I'm sad, because I will be damned if they rest this at the feet of Kamala D. Harris. The stuff that needs to be...
So it's not Kamala's fault, man. She had nothing to do with this, man. She a victim. Again, if any Indian women in the any Indian women out there, when I drop the link, I want you to come up and tell us how you're processing this, man. Everybody's asking Black women how they feel about this landslide defeat from Kamala Harris, but no one's asked Indian women. And Kamala was incubated in an Indian womb, and she was birthed through an Indian womb. She was raised by an Indian woman. So I want to know what Indian women feel about this. I'm tired of hearing what Black women feel about this. Hit the like button. 250 likes, 10 contributors. I'm dropping the link.
Be overturned and changed up and ended is astounding. Like my mind is frankly blown. Like the level of surprise that I keep dropping down into is just more than I can even bear and articulate. So in short, I am still vacillating between the various stages of grief. What I'm trying to lean into is not my outward expression of frustration and rage. I'm trying to deepen into listening. There are a lot of internal conversations to be had that I'm listening to, and there are a lot of external conversations to be had that, frankly, I'm not even ready to have because of the deep betrayal I feel by this country and the deep, deep betrayal that I feel for a party that I think regularly takes us for granted as voters, takes us for granted as consultants, takes us for granted as media, takes us for granted as staffers
and candidates.
And absolutely candidates. Absolutely.
Yeah, man, it's the media's fault, man. The media didn't help Kamala out enough, man. That goddamn mainstream media, man. If only they had given Kamala a fair shake. The mainstream media was shilling for Trump, man. And that's why Kamala lost. Hit the like button. 250 likes, dropping the link. 10 contributors, dropping the link. Get involved.
Absolutely. And that is the conversation that I want to have. It just ain't right.
Just quickly, what are the stages of grief? You said deep sadness, anger.
I said deep sadness. I said denial. I expressed denial, but I didn't name denial. And then I talked about rage. At some point, there's acceptance. I ain't accepted nothing yet.
You know, I will tell you guys, I did not, after the election, I did not watch the news. I couldn't. So to this day, I have not seen Donald Trump's speech from election night. Probably in the past 2 days, like you, Andrew, I just re-emerged. I didn't read a paper. I just didn't consume a lot of information. And so the past few days, it's really hit me. I'll say the first few days after election, I wept every day, every single day. You know, we had a lot.
Wow.
A lot of conversations with people. And I think one of the most sad experiences of this is, of course, talking to other Black women and what we all feel after.
Did you talk to any Indian women? Because she was incubated in the Indian womb and she was birthed through an Indian womb. And she was raised by an Indian woman. Did you talk to any Indian women? Hit the like button, man. 250 likes, man.
Being betrayed by this country and having our hearts broken by this country. But it was also sad, to your point, Andrew, talking to men. I talked to every Black man I know also wept. And they wept because they said,
baby, you need to meet some new Black men, man. Every Black man she met also wept. Yikes.
After being betrayed by this country and having our hearts broken by this country. But it was also sad, to your point, Andrew, talking to men. I talked to every Black man I know also wept. And they wept because they said they talked about looking at their daughters and what their daughters had gone through and how hopeful and excited they were. And that was one of the questions I asked. How do you look at young Black children and say you can dream?
How do you look at young Indian children, man? How do you look at young Indian children and say, hey, man, the world just ain't fair, man. This woman who was birthed, who was incubated in the Indian womb, birthed through an Indian canal, and raised by an Indian woman, lost the pride. Why you asking Black women, man? I'm confused, man.
You can do anything. You can be whatever you want to be, and know that there are caps to those dreams. As of right now in this country, there are caps to those dreams. So I think I've just been deeply sad. I've not wanted to engage in the post-election analysis that so many people jumped out there to do. I tried to watch cable news a few times, and I just, to be honest with you, this is hard because we all know some of these people, but I just thought y'all are on these airwaves bullshitting these people because you know good and damn well the conversations we were having amongst ourselves was way different than what they were saying on air. And I got increasing.
Yeah, because they know if they're around you and your little crew, they gotta say that it was racism and sexism because you're a bully, man. Y'all bully people into saying certain things, and and disincentivize them being honest. So of course, people talk to you a different way than they did when they got on TV and said, what really happened. Because you're gonna throw a hissy fit, and you're gonna call them racist, and you're gonna brand them a racist, and you're gonna try to play the blackity black game with them. Yeah, people scared to talk to you for real.
You can dream, you can do anything, you can be whatever you want to be, and know that there are caps to those dreams. As of right now in this country, there are caps to those dreams. So I think I've just been deeply sad. I've not wanted to engage in the post-election analysis that so many people jumped out there to do. I tried to watch cable news a few times, and to be honest with you, this is hard because we all know some of these people, but I just thought y'all are on these airways bullshitting these people because good and damn well the conversations we were having amongst ourselves was way different than what they were saying on air. And I got increasingly frustrated watching people dance and tap dance and bend themselves in knot for the comfort of white folks because they were so anxious probably about their own contracts and not wanting to say the wrong thing and talking about this bullshit like it's normal and normalizing all the plans that he had or normalizing his cabinet picks, all those things. It just made me feel so incredibly frustrated. And it just begged the question of if you are someone who wants to make change, to your point, Angela, about talking to the staff, and I hope you share some of the specific things, because I have talked to a few folks too, and I doubt that there's going to be a lot of daylight in what people said about their experience, but it just made me think if you are a person, particularly a Black person, who wants to institute change, you don't join things to become a yes man or a yes woman. You join to disrupt. And then when you're met with so much resistance, it can beat some people down. And sometimes they're going to slice the head off one of them and hold them up and say, this is what happens to you when you try to buck this system. And I feel like.
So, the white man, by voting for Trump, we as Americans collectively sliced a Black person's head off and held it up. I was like, this is what happened to you when you bucked the system. That's what we collectively did, y'all. Y'all should be ashamed of yourselves, man. Why'd y'all do that?
Said about their experience, but it just made me think if you are a person, particularly a Black person, who wants to institute change, you don't join things to become a yes man or a yes woman. You join to disrupt. And then when you're met with so much resistance, it can beat some people down. And sometimes they're going to slice the head off one of them and hold them up and say, this is what happens to you when you try to buck this system. And I feel like that has happened in cable news. I certainly have a testimony. I feel like that's happened in campaigns. And I feel like that's happening politically in the country. So.
Oh, is this Tiffany Cross, man? Oh, that's Tiffany Cross, man. Yeah, she got fired, man. That's who that is. I knew her face was somewhere. That's Tiffany Cross, man. She got crossed out. Joy, you next, man. Salute to Eric S, man. He says, I'm proud to say I'm a 3-time Trump voter. Damn, I'm only 2. I couldn't get around it during the pandemic. Couldn't get around to it. But yeah, I'm a 2-time Trump voter. Salute, man. Shout out to Bug, man, gifting the Ock Nation membership, man. Salute to you, man. We need 250 likes, man, to drop the link, man. 10 contributors, 250 likes. Scott Kelly says, Orange, man, 2024. Crying over politics is weak and sad. Drill, baby, drill. Low gas prices on the way.
I don't know where y'all want to go from here, but that's how I've felt. And I know we have a lot to get to. So I do want to talk about the cabinet. I do want to talk about Black and Latino men. But I just wanted to take that moment to reflect back to folks that all 3 of us have felt what you all have felt the past few days.
And I just want to give voice to the children because you raised that. My wife was with the kids on election night. So they woke up the next morning and Jackson happened to overhear the news and ran up to to our bedroom and he's in tears saying, Mommy, Donald Trump beat Kamala Harris. And then the other two run up, and now they're sad. And that evening, when I got back to the house, the first thing out of Jackson's mouth was, "Daddy, Kamala didn't win. Are we going to be okay?" And I said, we
Yo, these people are nuts. 250 likes, man. Hit that like button. Smash that like now, man. Everybody, we need 250 likes so I can drop the link, man.
we had a conversation, but we tried to keep them separated from this, right? And I imagine a lot of parents tried to keep them separated from the news so they wouldn't hear all of the stuff and be worried. And so I just said that to say to the parents who are raising little people who don't all the way get and grasp all of this, but are feeling the emotions of us, the adults, the parents. They know the difference between good and bad, right and wrong. And they're watching wrong win out, and they're trying to make sense of it. And I just want to encourage us to be in transparent conversation with our kids. Not, you don't got to go R-rated, but you got to talk to them about what this process is about and why we should.
Yeah, tell them, man, the whole country's racist, man, and sexist, man, and they hate black people. That's why Kamala didn't win. And we're doing a special thing tonight, man. Any Indian women, you're going to get priority to come up when I drop the link. I want to know what Indian women feel about Kamala's laws. I'm tired of hearing about from black women. I want to hear what Indian women think. Kamala was incubated in the Indian womb. She was birthed through an Indian canal, and she was raised by an Indian woman. I want to know how Indian women are taking this, man. Screw these black women, man. Why they even talking about this, man?
Show up in it to hopefully make the road a little smoother for them in the future.
Well,
I was thinking.
Go ahead, Angela.
Well, before I was thinking, it looks like we're just about up on a break, so maybe I'll think on the other side of the break.
Yeah, that's literally what I was about to say. I don't know where y'all want to go, but Trump has already named 13. Or stated his intention with the 13 members of his cabinet. And I know, Andrew, you want to get into the male voting block. So on the other side of this break, we'll dive into both of those topics. We'll see you on the other side.
Native Land.
What's up, Native Land Pod? My name is Derek Monroe. I'm from Harlem, New York. And my question is, what does this fight look like for us? I feel like I get it. We're all overwhelmed at this point, but I think it's time that we need to get together and strategize. And I'm just wondering who, especially when it comes to the Black community, are our leaders that would bring us together so that we can strategize effectively. So that
this is the Democrat Party, man. Hey, man, listen. 4 out of 5 black men voted for Kamala, so don't get happy. Don't get too happy. 4 out of 5 black men voted for Kamala, man. This is one of them, man.
We are not just taking advantage of. I feel like we are too busy being reactive and not proactive. I understand when I see on social media, everybody's like, oh, well, we're just going to see how this play out. But I'm in fear that the play out will be worse than what anybody anticipated. So I'm just wondering, who is our leadership? How will we come together? And what is the plan? And why aren't we being effective right now? We only have so many days before the inauguration. So if there's anything that's going to be done, it needs to be done. Time is of the essence. So tell me, you guys, what you think.
Thanks to Derek Monroe, a brilliant hairstylist, somebody I've loved over the years having conversations with while also getting my wig done.
You lucky you bald, man, or you might have been tempted to do something you would have regretted, man. I don't know if this guy could have resisted the wiles of Derek, man. God saved you, man, with male pattern baldness, man. Shout out to Derek, man, Democrat.
I want to say there's so much about this, Tiff, you brought this up before the break, that's not normal. And one of the frustrations that I'm hearing percolate quite a bit is if the Democratic candidate and the campaign hedged its bets on Donald Trump being a fascist, Why is it that after he's won the election, he's no longer being treated as a fascist? Case in point was Joe Biden meeting with him in the Oval Office for a peaceful transition of power. Kamala Harris in her concession speech talked about a peaceful transition of power. But how do you have a peaceful transition with someone who actually isn't so peaceful in his remarks and some of the things that he's done in the past as president? What is this all about? So I wanted to make sure that I was factually accurate. There is some law for this. The Presidential Transition Act of 1963 ensures that there is some transitional things that happen. Most of it come from an entity called the GSA, the General Services Agency in the federal government, and actually don't have much to do with the pageantry that happens in the Oval Office. Now, they say that an incumbent president has 3 responsibilities. 1 is the law, 2 is precedent, and 3 is goodwill. But I want to know how far goodwill should go. Should he be meeting with Donald Trump in the Oval Office for a peaceful transition of power? Is that a way to neutralize some of what is to come? I actually don't like it, y'all. Maybe I'm just out here. Maybe I'm, Andrew, I know you're the resident diplomat among us and you may see it differently, but it actually really grinds my gears that this is something that we doubled, tripled, quadrupled down.
So she's lamenting the fact that it's going to be a peaceful transition of power. She's lamenting that. Wow. And she'll be able to go on any show next week and talk, and nobody will bring this up. This won't haunt her. This won't follow her. This diatribe, this call for Democrats to not peacefully hand over power, man.
Down on. I really believe this man is a fascist and a racist and a bigot, and he's a xenophobic person, and he, all of those things. And not to just label him, but these are the things that we say based on the words that have come out of his mouth. So why is there the pageant?
Let's not get into the words that have come out of your mouth over the years. Oh, yeah, that's right. Black people can't be racist. 250 likes, man. 250 likes. 10 contributors, 250 likes. Everyone hit the like button.
In the Oval.
2 quick things. One, I think Joe Biden, having wrested so much of his rebirth in his run for presidency, and even Kamala through the prosecuting of the case around why Donald Trump is unfit to serve in the office again, they were rightly trying to ring the alarm, sound the alarm, treat him as not normal, as a pariah in many ways. But once the people have spoken,
think about the way they talking about him, right? They talking about him like a dog. I'm talking about they're talking cash shit about him. I mean, they're dragging his name through the mud. But they're calling him a racist for campaigning against Kamala. Things he said on the campaign trail make him a racist, but they're literally dragging him.
Once voters have decided, and in this way, in a relatively convincing way in modern politics, given the spread, it is incumbent upon the existing leadership to, in my opinion, hold with its traditions and its norms. And quite frankly, it's been done. Hillary Clinton sat there as the opponent of Donald Trump, but as a former first lady and wife to President Bill Clinton, in hair distance to Donald Trump as he took the oath of office. I can't imagine what this woman wanted to do, snatch his hair, hers, and everybody else's. But that's not what we do in democratic societies. And it's
well, y'all sure talking a lot about it. I mean, you've been talking for 5 minutes about it, but that's not what y'all do.
Frustrating as it is, it will frustrate me to have to see Michelle and Barack Obama and Bill and Hillary Clinton and even the Bushes, even though George Bush stayed silent in this cycle, but they will sit on that platform and that podium and they will demonstrate not only to Americans but to the rest of the world that what mature, sophisticated, democratic societies do is they have peaceful transfers of power. The passing of
y'all the mature, sophisticated, peaceful ones. They gaslight people so much. These are the mature, sophisticated, peaceful ones. Hey man, have you been on the internet the last couple of weeks, man, and seen all the meltdowns, man? Have you looked at the policies y'all support? Y'all, are you sure that y'all are the mature, peaceful ones? Whatever the other word you used was, man. Milk dud head.
the leadership from one party to the other. And I know I'm a traditionalist in this way, but I do believe the optics are important to communicate. It was fine to treat him as a pariah and call him every name under the child of God, up until the point that voters decided that they wanted him to be their president again. And at that,
yeah, man, you see, they telling the truth, man. Listen to what he said, man. What he said can't be taken lightly. Listen to this.
fine to treat him as a pariah and call him every name under the child of God, up until the point that voters decided that they wanted him to be their president again. And at that point, he is entitled to the rights, privileges, customs, and obviously the legal justifications for his acts as president.
If he was a fascist, let me just say this, man. If y'all talked about Idi Amin or Gaddafi or goddamn Robert Mugabe or Charles Taylor, if y'all was in any one of them countries, Kim Jong-un, and y'all were on the internet talking like this about them, man, in the middle of the night, some goddamn guards would come and fucking snatch y'all up out of y'all beds and we'd never hear from you again. Press 1.
Now, by the way, that doesn't stop us from protesting. That doesn't stop us from disagreeing vehemently with those things that he does that we disagree with. But as it relates to, I think, the traditions of the office and the passing of leadership from one administration, one party to another, it is important to keep those traditions, if not just for ourselves, certainly as an example to the rest of the world, that this is what democracies do. You don't hold power just because you want to keep it. You don't get to stay in office after voters have said you got to go. You don't do what Trump did and act like a kid on
but we know
tangent
how he's going to act.
up.
So why are we trying to be normal? I guess that's my question.
Bill Clinton came after George Bush, and he was against everything this man stood for.
No.
Right?
This man is an actual fascist who said that once he's elected, there will not be another election. So why are they sitting down with him in the Oval Office for a peaceful transition of power to not democracy? Why are we sitting down to have a peaceful transition of power to fascism? Why are we sitting down?
Because the voters decide.
All right, well, Andrew.
Yo, she's literally, it's gonna be trouble, man. I should do a poll, man. I should ask y'all, man. Let me do a poll, man, because I think it's gonna be trouble, man. I think the way they talking, man, we might have some trouble out of these damn Democrats, man. This is the calm before the storm, man. These Democrats ain't taking this too well, and the last thing you want to do is sleep on anybody, man. You don't want to sleep on anybody, man. These Democrats aren't taking this well, man. And last thing you want to do is put anything past them. You gotta 250 likes, man. Yeah, man. 250 likes, 10 contributors, man. Yeah, man. make sure you hop on this poll, man. I just put a poll up, man. All you guys, make sure y'all hop on this poll, man. Take this poll.
I gotta tell you, I completely disagree. Yes. Well, let me. This kind of shifts us to what Angela wanted to talk about, but I'm going to tell you why. We had brunch after the election, and one of our friends said that Democrats keep running change candidates and Republicans keep running change the rule candidates. And I think that's what we have here. And I want to talk about why I don't accept that. Well, that's the way it's done.
Change the rules. They say they run change candidate, we run change the rules. They're the ones who changed marriage from a man and a woman to where marriage could be between a man and a man. They changed that rule. They're the ones who changed it to where your pronouns and shit. It was he, she, it was he and she. Now it's like 50 pronouns. They the ones who changed it from male and female to 58 genders now. They the ones who changed it from only women in women's bathrooms, only women in women's sports, to men in women's sports. They the ones who changed it from you can't cut off kids' genitals to now you can cut off kids' genitals. They the ones who changed it from teachers can't tell kids that they were born in the wrong body and encourage them to get gender affirming care, sex change operations. Now you can do that. They the ones who changed all the damn rules. It used to be illegal to cross the border. Remember Elian Gonzalez, man? Who remember Elian Gonzalez, man? It used to be illegal to cross the border to come into the country. Now it's legal. Y'all changed all the goddamn rules. Tiffany Cross, you goddamn nut.
We had brunch after the election, and one of our friends said that Democrats keep running change candidates and Republicans keep running change the rule candidates. And I think that's what we have here. And I want to talk about why I don't accept that, well, that's the way it's done. And now it's time to, hold hands and sing Kumbaya. Not that you're saying that, but even the whole imagery to the globe of, yes, we've accepted this and we're turning the keys over to this man. Elon Musk is one of the wealthiest men in the globe. He obviously had a huge hand in Trump's election. The thing that we haven't discussed in detail on this podcast is that his companies were promised over $3 billion in contracts across 17 government agencies. Mm-hmm. This man was running essentially a puppet regime for voters, media, and the candidate himself. He will essentially be tapped to oversee people who would be regulating him. I don't think the country, and perhaps not everybody even on this podcast, has wrapped our arms around what it means to completely undo democratic norms and principles in this country. I don't think that we have considered the domestic policy that will completely upend what our social norms and mores, our political norms and mores. I don't think that we've comprehended what this means on a global scale. To accept that, well, this is what it is, and he has to welcome him into the White House. This is a man, the media has normalized it, but I think as people who look like us in our community.
Did you just say the media has normalized Trump? Yo, they do so much gaslighting, man. We need 250 likes to drop the link, man. 250 likes, man. Get them 250 likes going, man. Every single one of y'all hit the like button. And all of y'all, we need 10 contributors, man. 10 contributors. Also, hop on the poll, man. Take the poll. Take the poll. She said the media has normalized Trump. Yeah, they got total control of the media. They these people gaslight so much, man. It is insane.
To accept that, well, this is what it is, and he has to welcome him into the White House. This is a man. The media has normalized it, but I think as people who look like us in our community, I think they depend on us to be able to see through the bullshit. Yeah. And despite the media treating this man like, oh, well, he says he's going to appoint somebody who wants to kill the Department of Education. What do you think about that? Instead of, oh my God, what does this? I don't really care what pundits think about killing the Department of Education. You as a reporter, you as a journalist hosting a show, I'd rather you talk to us about the real live ass consequences that will have on the American people.
We agree, but those are two separate things.
They are,
man. Your kids are doing like by far the worst in the Department of Education. Your kids, there are 13 schools in Baltimore full of your kids that don't have any students proficient in math. There's so many schools all across the country that have where the black kids are doing abysmal in the Department of Education. What are you talking about, black woman? Your kids are doing the worst by far. On the Great Schools app, you can tell if a school's black population by how lowly it is rated. On Great Schools app, they rate the schools 1 through 10. I have yet to see a predominantly black school with a 2. What are you talking about? The Department of Education, you holding on to the Department of Education, your kids are doing abysmal.
All right, Andrew, but you're saying, but part of what you're saying suggests that this is all normal.
Well, don't let me
okay, we'll clarify. Let me know.
I can say.
Salute to Ali O. Ali O in the building, man. Shout out to Platinum Pig, man, starting the challenge. My man Platinum Pig, long time no see, man. Oink, oink, man. Make sure you support the channel via PayPal, Cash App, or Super Chat. Take the $5 challenge. We need 10 contributors, and we need 250 likes to drop the link. Got a lot going on. We're going to get into these Nazis in Columbus, Ohio, man. Nazis taking over Columbus, Ohio. Next.
Say things.
Well, say it more clearly, because that's what it sounded like to me, too, please.
No. So ceremony is one thing. These are ceremonies that have been cultivated over a period of time that don't inure any approval to this man's agenda. It doesn't rubber stamp, sign off on, or agree with Elon Musk being not just a gatekeeper, watchkeeper, but nowhere near the government of the United States in any capacity.
Osama bin Laden sitting down in the Oval Office with the president? Would they have had Osama bin Laden?
She compared Trump to Osama bin Laden, a man who literally killed. I don't even know if they know how many people Osama bin Laden is responsible for killing. Who literally responsible for 3,000 plus American deaths. The darkest day in American history, modern American history.
If Osama bin Laden were elected,
sitting down with the president.
Well, can I just point out a point?
Terrorist. This man is a terrorist.
Guys,
now they're getting mad at the black dude. The black dude done bent over backwards. He done agreed with everything they said. This is what they yelling at the black. Those of you who just joined it, they're yelling at the black dude because he's agreed with everything they've said. He's drunk the Kool-Aid. All he said was that there should be a peaceful transition of power. The Democrats should peacefully transfer the power over to the duly elected incumbent, Donald Trump. That's all he said. Now they're yelling at him. He's kicked out of the club. Let me guess, man. He hate himself. 250 likes. Everybody hit the like button, man, right now. If you haven't hit the like button right now. Listen to these crazy ass black folk, man.
This isn't that.
I'm
That's not the
sorry.
point.
I
All I'm
can't-
saying
I
is
can't.
we can go off the
It
cliff.
is the point. It is
We can-
absolutely the
we
fucking
can-
point.
Well,
we
let
can
me
go
hear
off.
it.
Oh shit. Why you cussing at him, man? This brother's been nothing. Press one if you think this brother, regardless of your politics, this brother's been nothing but professional and respectful the entire show. This brother has been very respectful, very professional. He's very well spoken. I don't like his politics one bit, but this brother does not deserve to be being cussed out right now, man. He's done nothing to deserve to be cussed out. Press one.
Off the
Andrew, let me hear what you
cliff.
have to say, Andrew.
You can go
I'm
off
not
the
off
cliff
the cliff.
and never,
country's
ever,
off a
ever
cliff.
get power again. You can.
That's where
you can,
we are.
No, that isn't
Well,
where we are because we
Andrew,
haven't
it very
begun
well
to
could
fight.
be. He said
So
this
for-
was the last
But
election.
Angela, you are smart. However, your wisdom does not supplant that of all of the American people who went out and voted. And unfortunately, I've had to subject myself to the same damn thing. You don't think I'm hurt? I felt awful. I felt humiliated.
questioning your pain, brother.
I'm going to finish my point. And ashamed that I had to call a guy and who I don't respect, who I don't like, and anything else, and concede a race for governor. No, it didn't feel good. It didn't feel good to come.
Oh, that's Gillum. That's Andrew Gillum. Oh shit. I knew that was somewhere, man. That's Philip Gillum, man. That's Andrew Philip Gillum, man. Remember him, man, in the hotel? Hotel with the white dude, man. They caught him in the hotel with a white escort, man. A white male escort. Andrew Philip Gillum. Oh yeah, man. I knew I knew that face from somewhere. He used to have hair. That's goddamn Andrew Philip Gillum, man. God dog. I remember I covered that story, man. Philip Gillum, man. That white boy rocked his world that night, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. I ain't into all that funny stuff, but they had him, the footage they had of him laying on the bed naked and all that stuff. They had it blurred out though, and with the towel, and the bed was all messed up, man. That white boy dropped it off in his drawers that night, man. Hey, white boy, I know I ain't, man. Listen, I don't know how y'all do, but whatever you did, man, that white male escort dropped it off in Andrew Gillum's drawers that night, man. He rocked his socks, man. When the police came in the room, man, Andrew Gillum was still dizzy, man. Hey, man, don't pause, man. Pause, man. Pause, man. Hey, listen, man. If you're excellence, I appreciate excellence, man. I appreciate excellence on every level. Excellence is excellence, man. That white male escort dropped it off in Andrew Gillum's drawers, man. Andrew was fucked up when the police came in the room, man. He couldn't even hide the drugs, man.
Either. She had warned the country of what a fascist looked like, and it was him in standing for him. Yet she picked up the phone, she made the call, because that's what mature democracies do. Now, two things, we don't want to conflate two different things. Do you think Kamala Harris is rubber stamped and signed off on his policies on
I
Elon
didn't
Musk
even talk
or any of the
about her.
above?
I
No, you
said
didn't
the
name check
Oval
her,
Office.
but it is
No,
important.
I didn't even bring up her concession
This is
call.
why, but you didn't,
I didn't.
but I did.
I did not.
You
and
did
I'm
not.
saying
You
I
did
am.
not.
Philip Gillum, man, they know you been down. They know you done got taken they know you been taken downtown by a white male escort. They don't respect you, man. They know you been taken to Sugar Town, man. They know you took a stroll down the candy covered highway, man. The Hershey Highway, man. You was caught speeding on the Hershey Highway. That's why they talking to you like this, man. Come on, ladies, man. Get this man some respect, man. He got a wife and children, man. Just because he got caught speeding on the Hershey Highway.
Asked the question
Angela, but
about
I
the
did.
Presidential
If I could
Transition
say
Act of
why.
1963
If I
and
could
the
say
Oval
why.
Office meeting not being statutorily required.
Again,
That is
Andrew,
a
finish your
different
point. Finish your point.
conversation.
You're because you're
No,
talking about the
because I don't want to
pageantry.
be. I don't want to be
You-
labeled as saying something else. I didn't
But-
say
but I
anything
can
about
be
your
labeled
concession
as
call.
saying
I didn't
something
say
else?
anything
But
about his
I think
concession
Andrew's
call.
making a different point. So Andrew,
But I'm
finish
saying
your
it's
point.
not okay to say that I essentially
But you can
suggested that when you didn't want to have anything suggested to you either.
You can assign me saying that the president should attend inauguration and host the incoming president at the White House as being a rubber stamp of Elon Musk. Never said that.
I
but
did
you
not
inserted
say
it.
anything
Let
about
me get back
Elon
to the
Musk.
point, though.
That
Let
was
me get back to
Tiffany.
the point, if I could. The point is, we can still disagree with this man vehemently, and the fight still remains. Him sitting down for an hour-long coffee is not what we are really taking issue with. What we are really going to be taking issue with is when he starts lining people up and marching them out of this country. When he comes in my neighborhood, for my children, for my family, for my way of life. That
Man, the only reason you ain't in the house with your children is because you was caught in the hotel with drugs and alcohol and a white male escort, man. That's why you ain't that's why your wife took your children away from you, man. Donald Trump didn't take your children away, man. Blame that white male escort. He put voodoo on you, man. He made you come to that hotel. He made you lie to your wife and said you was going to Florida for a wedding. And then you went down to Florida, rented a hotel room, and had a rendezvous with a white male escort. Shit went left and the cops was involved and shit, and it was a national embarrassment. That's why your kids ain't there, not Donald Trump. Try and blame Donald Trump for the reason you ain't with your kids.
can still disagree with this man vehemently, and the fight still remains. Him sitting down for an hour-long coffee is not what we are really taking issue with. What we are really going to be taking issue with is when he starts lining people up and marching them out of this country. When he comes in my neighborhood, for my children, for my family, for my way of life. Those are the fights, and we have to gear up. And to bring us back to what the question was, it was how we are going to strategize around our fight back against this man. And I appreciated the brother mentioning the fact that we can't just say we're going to wait and see what happens. Why? Because other people in other communities have the privilege of wait and see. But for us, wait and see what happens means immunity for law enforcement officers who then go out and slaughter our children. It means,
or come to a hotel room where a dude is in an altered state, laying on a bed in feces, man. Laying in feces on the bed after his back got blown out by a white male escort. And having to notify his wife. You have to call his wife and ask, his wife, hey, man, do you know your husband's down here in Florida in the hotel room with a white male escort? That's what cops got to be doing, man. Give them a break, man. Imagine the cops have to come into that room and see that, man. You don't have no fucking empathy for them. That's a tough job, man.
food support programs not getting to the people who need it most, and so on and so on and so on. So those battles, I have no resignation on any of them. We will fight those as they come and before they get here. But we litigated the fact that this man is a fascist in the election. The voters had the opportunity to consume that and make a decision as to whether or not they cared. And we don't get to supplant our knowledge, our will, our want over a democratic practice like an election. That was my point. And so certain norms must be kept to.
That wasn't an issue. Certain norms, some things, when things are not normal, norms go out the window. And I appreciate your perspective. I am not saying, nor have I ever said, that my wisdom, my knowledge, my limited experience takes every single voter, the millions of people that voted for Donald Trump, or the millions of people that voted for Kamala Harris. I'm not trying to supplant any of that. What I'm saying is there comes a time where we have to question the pageantry and determine if the pageantry is worth our credibility. That is what I'm asking. If we have said this man is a fascist, if we have said democracy is on the line, if we have said the things that we know and have relied upon for government support and programming will be no more, and we throw all of that out the window so that Joe Biden can skin and grin in a meeting with this man who was mugging the camera, he's still in character.
But do
But
you
we're
think
gonna have
Joe
that meeting?
Biden? Do you think Joe Biden
I'm not
wants to
talking
have to
about
sit
what he
there?
wanted to do. I'm talking about what he did.
But what he
It
did,
ain't about what he wanted to do. It's about what he
did was demonstrate not Joe Biden's personal will toward Donald Trump, but the will and the graciousness and the magnanimity of the office of president. And just because one derelict, Donald Trump, has no respect for democracies and our norms, doesn't mean that we are then equal by abandoning them right along with them.
I think
Andrew,
that if he
campaign had
took an
been
oath,
for.
I would like.
Man, this is enthralling, man. Seeing the melt down like this, man. Shout out to Osa the Healer, man. He says, salute Ak and Nation. Just dropping by. I got a text message instructing me to report for slavery in the morning. So I need my sleep. Yeah, man. I heard about that text. I didn't get one, man. So, I'm lucky, man. I'm one of the lucky ones, man. Sorry to hear that, man. But it was nice having you as a member of Ak Nation all these years, man. Damn, sucks, man. Salute to 45 Revolver, man. He says, yo, all Puff Daddy and Fat Joe performed at Andrew's election night party. It was horrible. God, dog. Damn. He had Diddy. That should have been a warning sign, man, of what was to come for Andrew Phillum Gillum, man. Salute to Trey Aqua. Salute to Trey Aqua 24, man. Fruity Dims. Hashtag DR for Trump. Pusu Susu. Salute, man. Shout out to Trey Aqua 24, man.
Like for us to pull up the
250 likes and I'm dropping the link, man. We need 250 likes so I can drop the link. Support the channel, PayPal, Cash App, Super Chat.
the presidential oath.
Well,
Because I think that it's actually a violation of the presidential oath to sit down and meet with this man.
that's
Wow. She says it's a violation of the presidential oath for Biden to sit down with Donald Trump. Wow. That's the presidential oath, man. I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of president of the United States and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. So Biden, man, Biden shouldn't have sat down with Trump, man, and shook his hand, man.
I think that's an opinion, but I think Andrew,
it is my opinion. I said I think.
Yeah, Angela, I hear you. Number one.
Okay, cool.
But
I'm
just saying,
my
there's no
opinion.
need to shout. I hear you, and nobody is attacking you.
I understand.
Cat fight. Telling Tiffany Cross. Tiffany like, shit, you might yell at that cuck Andrew Phillum Gillum, but you better keep your tone down when you talking to me, Missy. That's right, Tiffany Cross. Don't let Angela go. Angela getting reckless out here, man. She out of control. That's right, Tiffany Cross. Tiffany Cross, like, man, stop playing with me, man. You gotta be fucked up.
To sit down and meet with this man.
I think that's an opinion, but I think Andrew,
it is my opinion. I said I think.
Yeah, Angela, I hear you. Number one.
Okay. Cool.
I'm just saying, there's no need to shout. I hear you, and nobody is attacking you.
I understand. I don't feel attacked, and I'm not attacking any of
think
y'all.
it's
My
charged,
volume is my
guys.
passion.
Okay, I
think
just
this
want
is
us all to
charged.
have
It's not
like a
directed at
mature
you.
exchange
I
of
am
everything.
mature,
Because right
and I am
now,
also passionate. It's
okay.
mature passion.
Well,
I have siphoned off on occasion. Angela, you siphoned off on occasion. Tiffany, you will siphon off on an occasion, because this is a highly charged moment.
Yeah,
And I
it's fine.
understand that all of us
Normal.
have strong opinions about how we feel.
I just want
about
us to
this
be
thing.
respectful to each other's point.
Agreed,
Andrew, I hear your
agreed,
point. Angela, I hear
agreed.
your point. I have
And I
something
back
to
off. It's you,
I
please.
have something to say about both. Andrew, when you're talking about the pageantry of it, I do appreciate your perspective in maturity, because that is not something that we saw in Donald Trump. You know, I mean, it was giving very.
Yeah, they've been banging on Trump. Listen, they talk about Trump like they know him personally. Like they just be dunking on him constantly. It's crazy how much shit they say about him, and it just in passing. Like you can take any 2-minute clip of this fucking show right here, and they will have said some of the worst things you could ever say about a person. Any 2-minute clip talking about Donald Trump.
Much Meghan McCain on The View all the time, where he would throw a temper tantrum in front of a microphone, even post the election. That is a challenge. Angela asked a question that I think deserves a deeper answer to, and she was saying, would we invite the Taliban in the Oval Office? Well, this just shows how the media and other people.
Earlier they compared him to Osama bin Laden. Now they could compare him to the Taliban.
Normalize what this man did, because he did in fact invite the Taliban to Camp David. And so I think the concern and the anger and worry and pain, all of those things, is rooted in what we experience, what we can easily recall, and what we know to be true that is coming, that is awaiting us. Yeah. Andrew, I hear your point. You're an institutionalist, and you have always championed that on this show. I think what Angela and I are saying is perhaps it is time to disrupt those institutions. Like, should we be, even the image of him being on that dais on Inauguration Day, what might that say to the world? How might that normalize the fascism we're about to be confronted with? So I gotta say, I agree with Angela that we should at least pose this question. Just because it's been done all this time, why does that mean it should continue to be done? I don't know that it should be at this point. I think this is beyond. There should be a peaceful transition of power, but I think this is going beyond a peaceful transition of power in terms of imagery. But wait, before you respond,
but just to state that statement, it has been done every time except for Donald Trump.
Yes, I know, but I think that is Angela's point, that he is the fascist. Like, should we do it? Okay, well, let's go to a break, and we'll pick.
Damn, this is engaging, man. I wasn't planning on playing this much of this, man. This is enthralling, man. Seeing these two black women in this I don't even know what to call Andrew Gillum, man. Whatever he is, man. This is enthralling, man. These black people are crazy, man. And remember, the woman they talking about was incubated in the Indian womb, birthed through an Indian canal, and raised by an Indian woman.
Pick that up on the other side. We'll go to a break.
So Tiff and Angela, I agree with you. I think we have to. I don't believe in doing things for doing things' sake. I don't want to make that argument. I think it is symbolically important for let's just start with the fact that the campaign that decided we were going to run on democracy can't then abandon the traditions, customs, rights, responsibilities, all too appertaining to their offices, even when they're on their way out. And we have seen difficult transitions in the history of this country before. Like, and guess what? Those gentlemen for its day, I thought that George Bush, when he stole Florida, I thought it was completely unconstitutional that this man should be taking office. How do you get to take office as president in a 5-4 decision that then says at the end of that decision, this is not for precedence, never to be repeated, never to be referred to as precedent setting, right? But it happened. And the sky did fall in some places that I cared about. All I'm simply saying is we do have to mount a fight. We do have to push back on Donald Trump. But for me,
how do
it
you
ain't gonna
have-
be over a coffee. It's gonna be over his policies.
You guys, I don't know how to express this enough.
Nash,
This is not about him having a coffee with Joe Biden in the Oval. This is about the image and the signal it sends.
About
that
him
he-
having
he
coffee with Joe
literally
Biden
said-
in the Oval.
No,
she's
He
talking about what's
said-
going to happen in inauguration.
no, I'm not.
Oh, well, what are you talking about?
No, I'm not. I'm talking about even today, because we recorded this on Wednesday, him saying to Donald Trump, welcome back.
Oh, yeah.
Is he
yeah.
welcome? Why is he welcome? Why is what he stands for welcome? Why does that have a place in the in the most sacred place other than the Capitol that this nation says it built? Like, why is that the case? Why
Angela,
is it?
I think it's a
why
fight. I
is
just don't
it-
think it's the
why
fight we ought to
is
be
it-
having.
Why is it that when democracy is on the line, this is how we respond? It does not make sense to me. I'm someone that doesn't do well in hypocrisy. I can handle nuance. I don't do well in hypocrisy.
she doesn't do well with hypocrisy. But Kamala, that's right, Kamala. Because it would be Kamala. If she was black, it would be pronounced Kamala. But Kamala was incubated in the Indian woman's womb, birthed through an Indian woman's birth canal, and raised by an Indian woman in Canada. Why you don't want the first blackity black person to do whatever the fuck to be a actual black person? Why you cool with the first black woman to be such and such to not even be black? Why you cool with that, Angela?
Either he's a fascist or he's not. Either he's a terrorist or he's not. Either he's an insurrectionist or he's not. It doesn't matter that he's bamboozled and pulled the wool over the eyes of many. We haven't even gotten to the appointments. None of the appointments he's made are about the economy, which is why people said they voted for him. So either we normalize.
Ma'am, Doge, the Department of whatever the fuck, Doge, that's about the economy. That's about saving money, all the money y'all Democrats be wasting. All the governmental money y'all be wasting, it's about saving that, man, and redistributing that back into the into the making great good investments and prudent moves with that money, all that money that y'all waste. So all of his appointments have something to do with making America great again. And if the country's great again, then the economy will be great again.
Is it, or we decide this is the time not to normalize
Two things
it?
can be
Andrew,
true at once. He can be a fascist and a racist and a sexist and a misogynist and all those things.
Jesus Christ. Damn, man. They just be dunking on, they just be calling him all, yo, this shit pissed me off, man. They just call him all these things. Yo, he's none of those things, man. Who the fuck are you to call him that? Andrew Bottom Gillum? You a bottom. You're not even the one. You wasn't even the one stroking. You was the one receiving that night, man. You was getting it. You can't, man. Shut up, man.
And
More
he
than
can
two
also
things.
be the incoming president of the United States who
Should not come.
for our judgment, yours,
He's
mine,
not even gonna
everybody
be there.
else's.
His White House is Mar-a-Lago. Like, why?
But
the
Andrew,
point-
you're saying what I heard you say is to Angela, it's a fight. It's not the fight we should be having now. I want to push back on that point because I have to say, I did
not now, by the way. I just don't think this particular thing,
I hear you.
coffee with the president and the new
It's
president.
not
Yeah,
just
I get
coffee
what
with
you're
the
saying.
president.
And I think the imagery though, Andrew, because when
Yes.
I did not hear Joe Biden say welcome back because I was
Welcome back.
yeah, which I would have a challenge with that too. But Andrew, I have to push back on this because by Joe Biden saying that welcome back, what message does that send to President Zelensky? What message does that send to Modi of India? What message does that send to Vladimir Putin and Dmitry Medvedev?
It says that they all better get their ass in gear. They better straighten up. Because Trump don't play, man. All of them better straighten up. Because the real strong man is back in the building, man. The bullies are back, man. We ain't playing with y'all no more, man. All y'all world leaders better straighten up like y'all did last time.
What message does that send to Steinmeier? What message does that send to Macron? It is saying we are legitimizing
that
this
we're
man.
a mature democracy. That unfortunately has to do hard things.
That's not what it says.
So do you think Michelle Obama and Barack Obama wanted to stand on them goddamn steps after this is the man who made him?
But Andrew, can I just point out?
States, this was the man who made him pull out his birth certificate.
Yes, but can I point out something?
This is about should.
He should have been. Think about it. Barack Obama made it all the way to the White House in a second term without having to show his birth certificate. Think about that, man. What was he hiding, man? You want to see my birth certificate? I mean, I don't have it with me right now, but if I had to show you, I would show you, man. If I had to show you my birth certificate to get into the fucking goddamn movies, I'd show you my birth certificate.
Damn thing. He called.
No, it's not.
But
yes,
it's all. But Andrew, you're talking about something that was. Andrew, let me just say this: you're talking about 8 years ago. We did not know.
The same dude.
Yes,
but
he
didn't
is.
have
But he
any
had
track
not.
record.
He had not tried to
then.
overthrow the government at that point.
Correct.
He had not even come out and said he would try to overthrow the government at that point.
Yeah, man, because that crew on January 6th, man, they was going to overthrow the government, man, with no guns, a bunch of old white entrepreneurs from all, and ex-military people from all, and some brothers and different races of Republicans, conservatives. We're going to overthrow the entire government with no guns.
He had said racist things.
Somebody on
he said what he said exactly. That's not what. Let me just be factually for the listeners. What he said exactly is, if he shot somebody on Fifth Avenue, people would still support him. And he was quoting somebody who had written that. Let me just say, right. Andrew, yes, now we see that he's right. But what I'm saying is in 2016, he was a racist. He's not the first racist to occupy the White House. He's a xenophobe. He's not the first xenophobe to occupy.
Barack Obama is the first racist to occupy the White House.
Exactly. So then one more.
But he did not have a track record as the lead,
and we warned
as the chief,
against him.
as the commander in chief. The executive orders and actions he passed, the bills he signed, none of that had happened yet. This was the first office.
Everybody subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button, support the channel. 8 more likes and I can drop the link, man. Salute to Deluxe 247, aka Cal Ripken, aka the real MVP, coming through once again. Salute to my man Aster J, man. Aster J says, these ninjas think they're saying some profound shit. But remember, they forgive the Democrats for their history, which is soaked in blood. Yeah, man, it ain't even about forgiving the Democrats. They don't even consider that. They're not forgiving the Democrats. They don't even acknowledge that, the things the Democrat Party has done. To even have a sentiment of forgiveness for it.
He was ever elected to.
Michelle Obama had previously warned us in the closing argument in 2016 in Philadelphia
that's still different.
about who he was.
It still was a suggestion about.
She handed her a Tiffany's box. She welcomed her into the White House. She decided
And
on
she
has
regretted
talked
inauguration
off the
morning
record about
she
how
was
that was
not
the
going to
hardest
put
thing
her
she
hair
had to
together.
do.
She's
She was
on
going
the
to go
record
there.
about it.
She was going to tighten her face, but she was going to sit there and endure it for the country and
I
for
don't
the
want
office
to
that she
endure
represented.
another
You don't
goddamn
have
thing
to,
for
and
this
that's why you
country.
shouldn't
And
go to inauguration. You
I'm
shouldn't
not,
sit and
Andrew.
watch
It's
the
not
coffee.
about.
She acting like she did two tours in Iraq, talking about some. I don't want to endure another goddamn thing for this country. Man, hit the like button. Support the channel via PayPal, Cash App, Super Chat. Take the poll. We got 250 likes yet, man. Let me see. Let's see how many likes we got, man. Let me see. Yeah, we had 250. Let me drop the link, man. Any Indian women. I'm tired of hearing black women talk about how mad they are about Kamala losing, man. I want to hear Indian women, man. Any Indian women in the chat, come up, man, because you know Kamala was incubated in an Indian womb, birthed through an Indian birth canal, and raised by an Indian woman. So it's only right that we hear what the Indians got to say about it, man. Hell with these black women, man. They ain't got nothing to do with this, man. They acting like goddamn Shaka Khan running for fucking president or some shit. What y'all black women mad for, man? Y'all crazy, man. What's wrong with y'all? What is wrong with y'all, man? I want to get to these Nazis, man. This is enthralling. I'm gonna get y'all thoughts on this, and then we're gonna get to these Nazis in Columbus, Ohio. Because ironically, Nazis are demonstrating in Columbus, Ohio right now, man.
Inauguration. This is not about
this is
no,
ceremony. This is why I'm saying this isn't the
Andrew,
fight. I didn't
this
say
is
this
not
isn't the fight we
about
should ever have today.
inauguration.
I'm
It
saying
is the fight we should have because
the
this is what
fight we
people
ought
are
to be
wrestling with at
having is
home.
on the substance
The
of what this man
substance
plans to
is
do with
why
us.
his ass should not be welcome into the Oval. That is the whole point.
The
It is
voters
bigger.
have
The
made that
substance,
decision.
I don't care. I don't care. They
Yeah,
need to
because
be
you know what though,
informed.
because I think yes, and Andrew, what you're saying is yes, he's going to be in the Oval. We get that. I think what Angela can correct me if I'm wrong. I think what Angela is saying is yes, if he's going to be in the Oval, that doesn't mean that we have to roll out the red carpet for him. But
No,
but let me just say, Andrew, I
I
don't think we're going to agree.
Yeah,
I think
agree.
we
I
all
agree.
disagree. I think out of respect for the
I agree
viewers
with
who
you.
tune into this podcast every week, I would rather offer them some information about why we all feel so passionate about this and why we are all so concerned. And that is his cabinet and what they intend to do.
Yeah.
So if y'all are okay with it, I'd like to get into some of these appointees and why this creates such an angst in my spirit, and that I don't think, with respect to the rest of the country, I don't think the rest of the country has taken seriously, but they have around, and now we are on the precipice of finding out. So let's pull some sound from the cabinet. Let's play that and then argue over these crazy people, because that's who we mad at. For the listeners listening, it's an intense conversation. We're not mad at each other.
What would you take a threesome with Angela Rye and Tiffany Cross, man?
Man, what? Bro, I'm a done man, dog. Two fine Melungeons? Come on, bro. Like, that's like asking, will I take another Trump stimulus? Come on, bro.
It's a melange a trois.
Yeah, melange trois, man.
Yeah, man. What about you, hot black man? Would you go to Browntown if you wanted to?
Not with
hot black like them dark butts. That's what he like.
Yeah, well, yeah, not these two. I'll just leave it at that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he like them dark and stark, man.
Well, you know these liberal Democrat women love them some white boys, man. We already did the video on that.
That's true.
All these liberal Democrat women, all of them are married to white, like literally every single one of them.
We mad at what's going on.
And the liberal men too. And the liberal men, they like white guys.
Yeah, exactly. Andrew, we just talked about Andrew Gillum caught in the hotel with
Yeah.
a white male
You
escort.
think he gave that white man booty head? Pause.
Listen, listen. The way he looked after that, man. After that, all I know is that white man dropped it off in his drawers, man. I think that white man did to him what like we all wish we could do to a woman. We
Yo,
have never done to a woman what that white man did to him.
Bro, that nigga got the nerve to talk about racism when he was somewhere in a cheap motel in Florida getting buck broken by some white man. That's crazy.
The way he looked when it was finished, it looked like he got the steamboat broker.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that
yeah,
white
man.
Zaddy,
Buck
Zaddy,
3000.
yes, Zaddy pulled the steam powered buck breaking machine
The
off for
buck
this
breaking chin.
yeah,
Yeah, that
for
white
the
boy tore his
simian.
ass up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
tore that simian booty right up.
yeah, man.
On, and we're
I'm
past
mad. I'm mad at more than just this incoming cabinet. I'm mad at Joe Biden today for sitting down with this man.
We are all
So-
mad. I'm just letting the viewers know we're not mad at each other. We are
I'm
passionate
mad at
about
some
it.
of the things y'all have said today. That is true.
It's okay.
So it is okay. I think it's fine
Yeah.
too. But
But we're
whatever.
not. It's not a personal argument with each other. We just have different perspectives on how to do things. So
Let's hear about this.
yeah, the cabinet. Well, I know there's sound, but Andrew, I know that you have a lot to say about Susie Wiles, who will be the first woman to serve as chief of staff. But we haven't heard from the cabinet. And Angela, I know you pulled sound, so do you want to kick us off with some sound?
I was getting ready to do that. Sure. So there are a number of appointments that he is going to make, that he's planning to make. Susie Wiles has already been mentioned by Tiffany. Stephen Miller, who was recently over America First Legal, is going to transition back into the White House. And for those of you who don't know about Stephen Miller, he will be Deputy White House Chief of Staff for Policy. You should look at some of the things that he said and did in the last term. Tom Homan, who is going to be the border czar. I think we should roll this clip.
Is there a way to carry out mass deportation without separating families?
I love this clip.
Families can be deported together.
Why should a child who is an American citizen have to pack up and move to a country that they don't know?
Because their parent obviously entered the country illegally, had a child knowing he was in the country illegally. So he created that crisis.
Okay.
Can
So
I
that's
just say really quickly,
Okay.
Angela, before you go on? One, I definitely have more to say about Tom Homan. I watched 60 Minutes as my Sunday tradition. I just want us to be factually accurate because this moves so quickly. We don't know for certain. It has just been reported that Trump could potentially intend to name Stephen Miller as the deputy chief of staff. What we know factually as of the time of this recording is he has publicly or his team has confirmed Susie Wiles as chief of staff and 13 or 12 additional potential cabinet members then. So all the rumors that you're hearing, they have not come out and said that. They've come out and named these 13. I just want to make sure that we're factually accurate.
It's a test balloon.
Next, we expect Secretary of State will be Senator Marco Rubio. Let's roll that sound.
Oh, yeah.